I have the PDF. Unfortunately, they didn't release the .mod file, so we'll be doing all of this Theater of the Mind, unless I decide to use a stock map I happen to have on hand. So the three of you have all been asked, for various reasons, to help with a caravan. Maybe your faction asked you, maybe you received a direct request. You've been asked. So you guys head out to the market you've been told to go to. It's a caravan trading post, really. And there's nothing like the desert to make people feel small and insignificant. In every direction, huge dunes roll across the landscape, and an even larger sky looms above. The oasis of Werthel is a motley collection of sun-bleached tents in the vast Anarok desert. Through various means, it has been arranged that you would meet Azam the Caravaneer in the large Kalimshan-styled tent that passes for a tavern here. A pair of tieflings, who seem to be unaffected by the heat, eye approaching visitors warily. The dim interior of the tent is a relief from the bright light and wind, though it's as hot here as anywhere else. The gentle sounds of a stringed instrument fill the air, and the people inside are hunched over food, drink, and conversation. A dragonborn with rust-colored scales greets you and guides you to a private table. There are a few other adventurers here, so why don't you guys introduce yourselves to each other? Adam?
Sure. Blix is a rather uncouth-looking dwarf. His hair is in a mohawk, and it's the color of sort of coppery blue. He's very scarred, and when he grins at you with this dumb-looking expression on his face, you can see that most of his teeth are actually broken. He is a barbarian. I believe he is Order of the Gauntlet, if that matters.
And you appear to be a battle rager.
Yes, I am.
Are you wearing the spiked armor of your calling?
I am. As a matter of fact, because of the rewards, I have a +1 suit, which
User joined your channel.
it's up to you how that will work. As far as the
Pause.
spikes,
How did you get a +1 suit?
Hey
it
guys,
was originally a trade at Phi Chen's, but I do know that you can also get it now with the faction rewards.
Yeah, it's just +1 armor is a rare. How did you get a rare in tier 1?
Like I said, it was a Fei Chen reward, a Fei Chen trade. I got a rare item that I traded for it at Fei Chen.
How did you get a rare item in tier 1?
There's plenty of rare items in tier 1.
Oh, was it through a hardcover?
No. I can hang on. Let me dig through my adventure log and figure out where it came from.
I mean, oh, never mind. It's not.
Oh,
that
it was the
important.
boots, the winged boots from Cloak and Shadows.
Aren't those an
210.
uncommon?
Nope.
I think they are a rare.
Okay,
I might be wrong though.
My notes on that subject are wrong then.
Yeah, I'll go back and double check it, but I know I handed them one and they handed me the other, so I don't have the cert for the winged boots anymore, so it's not something I can look at. Although, so I'll have to go back and dig through that stuff.
What mission did you say it was? 2-10?
I think it was 210, I think.
Yeah, Anyways, you trade it at 5 Chen. Sounds like the guy at 5 Chen made a mistake because the boots are actually an uncommon.
Okay. Let's
But
see
if
what I
5
can do.
Chen
I may
made the
have a.
trade, I won't argue with it.
Okay.
And it looks like we have a new person join, Silixian. Silxian.
Selection.
He does not change the party scaling at all. We're still APL 3, and we're still below party size. So, as far as how your armor works, +1 Battle Rager armor is +1 to AC, nothing else. Your offhand attack does count as magic damage, however.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks.
In a homebrew, I'd probably change things, but this is AL. So, next up is Lathander, a ranger.
With Thunder, I'm a human ranger, basically a loner, or from a small village. Uh, I'm extremely loyal to friends and family, and looking forward to this adventure.
Alright then. And Sketty. Sketty?
Sorry about that. I had to step away for a second. Sketty is came from a small town, family of pastry chefs, actually. He was not very good at baking, but he was a wiggly like a spaghetti noodle. So that's the name he went by, and he kind of just travels the land. I don't know. He doesn't really do much. He's just not very good at what he's supposed to do. So until he finds what his calling is, he is going to punch things and take gold.
And we have the latecomer, Silixian.
I'm a half elf paladin. I come from the woods far from these lands. I come to smite evil and bring in the bad guys. Collect that gold.
Something seems to be odd. For some reason, Silixian's hit die are not replenishing. And there we go. So, the Dragonborn waiter delivers water as well as dates, olives, and bread. Before long, you are joined by a lean, half-elven man with a long, craggy face, and the dark skin and hair that shows his Rashemi ancestry. He has an impressive mustache. He's clad in practical desert gear. His most striking feature is a golden-scaled pseudo-dragon that lays draped around his shoulders. The pseudo-dragon stirs, blinking with milky irises and sniffing the air. It gives the man a nod before shifting its wings and settling back down to snooze. Sing, my patron, the man gestures to the snoozing dragon, as if it were a perfectly normal thing, is most pleased you have come. We have business to discuss, and hopefully you are ready for a long journey. I am Azam, and we would like you to deliver a statue to Parnast.
Okay. I'm not carrying it.
That is certainly fine. We have a wagon. In fact, we have a number of caravans who have who. Excuse me. Sorry, I was reading the wrong one. The caravan has a number of wagons, and we are desirous of guard less because we are desirous of your services less in the capacity as caravanners and more as caravan guards. There have been a number of caravans who have not completed the journey, and stories of goblins on the road have spread. I'm hoping that you can serve as insurance against any problems we may encounter. My caravan carries a number of goods in addition to the statue. They are of value both to me and to the people of Parnast. It's important that we get there. I've heard that the village has gone from one trouble to another, specifically the cult of the dragon, to something involving giants. Don't know the particulars. The statue was made for their shrine of axes and was made in the Anorak Desert by local artisans. It's not small and it's not light. I don't know and I don't care if it's magical. I've been paid to transport it securely, and that's what I plan to do. And that's what I want you to help with.
All right. When do we go?
It is currently high sun. It would be best not to depart with the rising sun. You have a few hours before we will set on the road, get little distance between us and the oasis here, and then bed down for the night.
Lathander asks, what is the pay for this?
The statue will be worth 50 gold pieces, payable upon arrival. And my patron informs me that there may be more work waiting for you in Parnast. None of my concern, though. All I know is that Hsing's patron is very mysterious, very influential, and very rich. And very desirous to have you in Parnast. I would suggest, by the way, that you purchase desert survival gear to help against the heat.
That would be a good idea.
We leave in 4 hours.
Very well. I will purchase the survival gear.
Yeah, I'll go with him. He looks.
So is anyone a Zent?
Gauntlet.
As far as road ale, road ale? I don't think I've ever heard of road ale.
Oh, it's just like a road beer. And get a drink beer while we're on the caravan.
Well, there will be water provided. One of our wagons is dedicated to carrying foodstuffs and water primarily for ourselves. Though, of course, anything we manage to reach Parnast with will fetch a hefty price.
All right. Well,
as far as the desert clothing, it's 4 gold pieces each, unless you're a Zent member. And unless you guys happen to be a member of the Zent, as you shop around, you discover that pretty much everything in this marketplace sells for about a quarter again standard prices. But they do have the full stock from the player's handbook.
I'll just take the desert gear.
I'm gonna buy some road ale. I drank all mine last time.
I'm gonna get the desert gear. Probably wander around, bitch and moan about the prices, make a nuisance of myself, and then be back on time.
How much gold is this desert gear?
4 gold pieces.
Okay. Then I'd like to try to get that too then.
So, 4 hours later, the sun has started to descend in the sky, and you are out of the blistering heat of high sun. And the caravan takes off. Travel in the desert is slow. It's hot, and it's full of blistering sun. There are no clouds, no promises of water anywhere. Azam likes to start moving well before sunrise. What? Okay, apparently I missed something and we're retconning a bit. You guys met in the middle of the night. Because you guys took off well before sunrise, when the moon's full glory makes the dunes look like mountains of diamonds. The sun rises a gorgeous spill of pink and gold across the horizon, but the baking sun is soon pounding on everyone like a hammer in a forge. Vultures occasionally soar overhead, hoping that something has died in the heat. So you guys can see that there are 4 wagons, each pulled by 2 foul-tempered camels. One of them carries food, another carries water and some medicinal herbs, another carries a shipment of weapons, and the last carries the statue.
I'll probably ride on the dwarf will probably ride on the one that has the statue in it, since that's supposed to be what he's protecting.
I'll go on the one that's in front or behind it, just so I can guard another wagon but still be close to our main thing.
So the caravan actually travels and sleeps in 2 shifts. You travel from pre-dawn till noon, sleep from noon till late afternoon in shade, travel from late afternoon till after dinner, and then you sleep from dinner to pre-dawn. So basically, you try not to be moving during the high sun, and then in the middle of the night, you take some time to rest.
Sounds good to me.
Definitely good for not going in the heat.
Blix is very impressed by this wisdom.
Stand by. There really should be easier ways to run this. Okay, never mind. I don't need to continue rolling the rest of those stealth rolls. A natural 1. I'm going to assume that everyone has a passive perception higher than 7.
That would be a good guess.
Yes.
I mean, he only needed a 5 or so to pass you guys. But no, he had to roll a 1. A 1!
That's like my favorite number when things are trying to sneak past me.
So the drivers and Azam bed down for some sleep, leaving the caravan guards, you, to do your duty. The nighttime desert is bitterly cold and dry. Camel spiders, sand scorpions, snakes, and large-eared hopping mice come out at night to casually murder each other. They also try to get into the tents. You see a flicker of movement that resolves into furtive, small, humanoid shapes sneaking towards the wagons. The moonlight glints off the steel of the goblins' weapons. What do you do?
So, how far out would we say these guys are at? Like, would we be able to try to sneak out behind, like, our caravan so they can't see
They're
us sneak up on
about
them?
30 feet away.
Alright. While Sketty's gonna kind of slide out of his seat or wherever he's at right now, try to get on the other side of the wagon and try to be a little stealthy to see if he can surprise the people who are trying to surprise him.
Normally Blix would charge right in, but I'm not going to ruin his moment there. I'm probably looking at one of the goblins, very puzzled that the rabbit thing that I was going to hunt and kill and eat has got some sort of weapon, and it probably hasn't dawned on Blix exactly what it is.
Inspiration. Oh, I like that, good sir. So that's two of you. Does anyone else care to add into the narration?
I will ready my weapon in case they attack.
Yeah, Lathander's got his bow cocked and ready to go.
Are you trying to hide these preparations?
Yeah, where were we in a tent or something?
Presumably you guys were just sitting around outside of the wagon.
Okay, well, I want to try to duck behind one of these tents that are apparently are some kind of object, bush, whatever.
Alright, so give me a stealth roll.
Do you want it in the tower or just...
Go ahead and just butt it out. The results are going to be pretty obvious. Yep. You're very able to make certain those goblins see exactly... Oh, actually, let me double check the goblin stats. The goblins do not see what you're doing. So, I believe...
I'll just stay by the fire and act like I don't see them. And if they come within range, I'll chuck a javelin at them.
Alright, give me a deception roll. Let's see how good an actor you are. Not a particularly good actor, but the goblins really aren't that discerning of a stage audience. It looks like they aren't fooled, and Sketty will gain the advantage of a surprise round. Roll initiative. Sketty, what is your speed supposed to be?
Right now it's actually 50. Plus 10 for the being a monk, and then plus 10 for the feet thing.
Mobile?
That's what it was, yep.
I wonder why speed is showing as 0 on your sheet then.
Shoot. I can try to fix that real fast. I'm not even seeing it right now. There we go. Let me just change that real fast if I can.
Yeah, it's not letting me change it.
Sorry about that. I somehow typed that down in special defense for some odd reason.
Well, okay. So you are definitely able to get around behind them. So a whole bunch of people are surprised and getting ready. It's your turn. We'll let you go ahead and do what you want to do.
All right. I guess I'm gonna try to take out the goblin in the back first, or whoever I guess
that
is closest
would actually
to me.
be the goblin boss on his warg.
All right, goblin boss on the warg. I'm gonna smack him. All right, so target that guy. I'm gonna kind of like tap him on the shoulder a little bit, so he sees me. I'm gonna smack him in the face with a punch, and be like, "Ah, snap." Wait, did I get advantage on that on account of it was a surprise, or no?
I will say that you were able to be concealed for your first attack.
Okay. Just do that real fast. Uh-oh. Sketty finds out that this was a terrible, terrible idea on his part. So he's going to just kind of do his unarmed movement, his kick, his monk kick, and I'm going to spend a key point as I flail and miss, and disengage and kind of run back
Your
behind some
unarmed
bushes.
strike is a bonus action.
Oh, it is, isn't it? All right. Well, I'm gonna stand there then, because that's I rolled it. So I'm
Take
gonna.
your key point back then.
Yep, I'll take the key point back. Sorry about that, guys.
I will allow you to take the attack back since you didn't realize how that mechanic worked.
Okay, if you do, that'd be amazing. Thank you. So yeah, I'll swing at him once. Am I surprised? I'm guessing I bounced off some armor or something like that. I'm like, oh, I did not choose this fight well, and I'm gonna spend that key point, and I am going to disengage and run like a chump. Arms flailing and everything.
Yeah, just as a note, when it comes to players learning, I tend to err on their favor.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, first time doing
When
it.
it comes to players power gaming, I tend to err against them. So, Sketty starts the fight off with a bang as he walks up and totally misses the goblin. And the goblins realize the jig is up and start shouting and hollering and charging on in. You guys have basically managed to shake yourselves out into a little bit of a battle line between them and the wagons, which means they don't actually get advantage of the ability to hide at the moment. So they're having a very bad day. And I think they're going to start with Silixian, and miss. Anyway, so the first goblin charges up, takes a whack at you, disengages, and continues to charge past you towards the wagons. And Lathander, the next one actually manages to charge at you. Oh, and he manages to take a whack at your shins as he's passing by before he ducks aside and makes for the wagons himself. From what you can tell, these guys really just do not want to be fighting you. They want to be looting the wagons.
Well, we're going to have to put them in the ground then.
And actually, these guys should have a linked initiative because otherwise things make no sense. So the goblin boss... does anyone understand goblin, by the way?
No, sir.
Oh, not so fast, he says in goblin as he turns around towards poor Sketty, who probably couldn't move a full 30 feet away from him.
Most likely not.
And he slashes out at you with his scimitar. I wasn't planning to kill you. Especially since the war gets its own attack as it tries to bite your head off.
Sketty can make it.
Silxian!
How far is the ward boss?
Well, he was 30 feet away, but he went charging off after the monk, so let's call it, say, 50.
Out of my reach. So that first goblin that attacked me and then dashed past me, I'll go after him. So that was number 6?
Yes.
And I miss, and that ends my turn.
Lathander. Lathander? Paging Lathander.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was using my right mouse button instead of my space button. My Discord and my TeamSpeak is set up different. Okay, Lathander would like to shoot his bow at the goblin that just hit him, so I don't know which number that one is.
11.
All right. And
All right. All right, Sketty, knowing that he, gosh darn, messed up, and this thing's kind of biting him and clawing him, he's going to pull off one of his secret special Sketty moves. He's going to wiggle and wave like wet spaghetti, and he's going to spend another one of his key points, and he's going to he's going to disengage, and he is going to use his action to dash and just run away as far as he can towards the rest of our party, trying to move his way through and not get attacked by other goblins as he's going through, as I'm wiggling and waving.
All right. Is the big guy in range? The warg and the boss? If so, I'm going to close with it and see if I can take on this goblin boss. And
Yeah, the Goblin boss is not going to be within range for you to reach.
so, and I assume that means the warg is not. So I will go after whichever the goblins is closest to me, or number 3.
Removing the key from Sketty. So the one that's closest to you would actually probably be either 6 or 11 because they dash towards the
Got him. I'll go after 6 then. Oh, okay. And I'm not raging, so I can't do the armor spikes. It's late at night. You know what? I will rage. And that'll be it for me.
raging. You know, this figure in battle armor with spikes and waving a weapon around, and now he seems to be angry. I think you've managed to gather the attention of the next 2 goblins.
All right.
Who come charging up. And one of them misses you and just ducks past you to reach the wagons. And while you're turning to face him, the next one catches you and manages to get you right along the seating area, shall we say.
So I turn around. Hey, get back here. Ow! Little punk.
And I forgot what I was about to say. Anyways, so the goblins are basically now all at the wagons, and they hop, and they start. One of them tosses his shield aside and crawls on underneath, and promptly vanishes from view until he pulls his short bow out. And another one vanishes from view as he tosses his shield aside. Sketty, you disengaged, right?
Yeah, disengaged and used my action to dash, so I should be between 100 to whatever you had to take away from me, weaving in and out of the other goblins to not get attacked.
Well, if you disengage, you disengage. You don't have to weave.
Well, I didn't know if there'd be goblins in the way as I'm running back to the rest of the party.
Oh, sorry. Mechanics. You take 1 disengage action, and you don't take any opportunity attacks in the entire turn.
Oh, well.
You don't disengage from 1 target. You disengage, and movement is safe.
Okay, well then I'd be 100 feet away.
And you want it to be back at the wagons?
Yep, just where the back of the rest of the party is.
So the Goblin Warg comes charging on over, and you know what? Blix looks pretty tempting. And by tempting, I mean way too well armored, as both attacks just clash off of your spiked armor harmlessly. Unfortunately, while you're busy paying attention to the goblin, you aren't paying enough attention to the warg, which manages to take a nice hefty chunk out of your thigh. Unfortunately, it's not able to push you prone, so it's just not having that great a day. Selixian.
Is the Goblin Boss and Warg in the party now? Like in the within range?
Yes.
And I don't see where 6 and 11 went, do I?
No, they just kind of vanished. You think maybe they crawled under a wagon?
So I'll move, since I can't see them, I'll move to the Warg and I'll move to the Warg. I'll and attack. Sweet. And at this point, I will actually use a first level slot and smite. And that ends my turn.
Lathander shoots Goblin 11 again with his bow.
Goblin 11 is hidden.
Well, which one can I see then?
The boss and number 3 and 8.
The boss is on a warg, right? Correct?
Yes.
I'm going to take aim at the warg.
Your arrow just kind of bounces off of a thick ruff of fur on the warg's shoulder.
Here we go with the Wheaton blows. All right.
All right. Who would you say that Sketty would be around? If it was one of our party members.
Say again?
Oh, if I ran back to the party, who would you say that I'd probably run to? I mean, if we're doing this by the mind.
Yeah, that's a question for Sketty to decide.
All right, cool.
I know that Blix is definitely making a lot of noise with his raging, and he's taking on multiple goblins at once. And he's a battle rager. He's probably shouting at the top of his lungs.
I'm probably actually shouting at the others to leave, go find their own.
All right. Well, and that's the case.
Dude,
Sketty
I can't apply additional inspiration until you spend what I've already given you. And Blix is racking it up.
That's funny. Well, Sketty's gonna be like, all right. He reaches in his pocket. He's gonna pull out a little potion. He's gonna chug that sucker. Then he is going to do a quick look around. He's gonna see that goblin boss in the warg. This time, he sees his buddy there, or a guy he met, and he's gonna run towards that warg. And I'm gonna try to do a flying air kick with my unarmed strike. Both.
How are
I cannot do that.
Using
I cannot
a potion
do that.
and attack?
I'm not doing that. I'm thinking about a different character. So I'm running back up there, and I'm going to challenge him again, and I will end my turn there.
Let me guess, you're used to running with a thief who can drink a potion as a bonus.
That's yeah. I kept switching over. I'm like, oh snap.
All right, thank you for reminding me I had the inspiration. I'm going to take a swing at the warg before everybody kills it on me. Using inspiration to get advantage on the roll.
You didn't even need that advantage.
No, I didn't, but with a mighty roar, I launch Crasher into the warg. And I'm going to dive at it with my bonus action, smash into it with the armor spikes. Oh. I am not actually selecting anything. So I didn't do the damage to the warg. I didn't do the 12th. Okay.
And you know what? You need to pick a new target.
The boss target and use the armor spike on him. The
And
14
before
I
we go
think
any
would miss.
further, I do believe I need to make a dex save. Because, his warg just died. And the goblin boss falls prone to the ground.
Alright, so the 14 I think would miss the...
You have advantage. You can try again.
Right, so I'll roll it again, yeah. And 11 won't hit.
Yeah, just not your day.
That's it for me.
So Goblin 3 tosses his shield aside and tries to vanish. Unfortunately, you guys can pretty much see that he tried to duck behind one of the wagon wheels and he does not hide. Goblin 8, on the other hand, vanishes. And Goblin 6 takes his bow out and manages to catch Blix in the shoulder with an arrow. You can see that he's actually crawled under one of the wagons. And then he rolls aside and you can't spot where he is in the chaos of battle anymore. And I'm sorry, Blix, you have made yourself into much too big of a target.
Oh, I built this guy as the tank, so I'm doing my job.
And you know what? Maybe it's last night's game because I had a bunch of kids and they really like the butt shots, but here's another butt shot for you.
Well, if you're tanking, I guess I'll switch to a two-hander.
But this goblin, he kind of tries to roll aside, but you can see him just... Yeah. He tried to roll under the wagon, and instead he rolled all the way through the wagon to the other side, and is kind of like, oops. Goblin boss clambers back up onto his feet. You kill my warg! Ag! Silixian.
So I will target the goblin boss, and I will drop my shield so I can wield my longsword with two hands.
Doffing a shield requires an action.
Oh, even just dropping it instead of putting it away?
Donning or doffing a shield requires an action.
Ah, damn. Alright, I'll just swing
the
it in.
mythology D&D has chosen to embrace is that it's strapped to your arm.
Alrighty, so I'll just swing him then. And I miss.
All right. Lathander takes aim at the goblin boss, if he's still in view.
The goblin boss has not vanished.
Alrighty then.
Alright, Sketty's not a very big fan of this goblin boss, and I kind of smacked him up pretty good. But as he sees an arrow fly into, I don't know, a random part of his body, I'm going to try to punch that in a little bit farther as I take an attack at him. Alright. Sketty's thinking to himself, alright, well, fourth time's the charm, as I'm going to try to now knee it in. And he's just happy he hit.
right. First thing, I'm going to just scream something completely unintelligible, which it translates in his mind is to, and now I'm going to kill you. I'm going to try to hit him first with the armor spikes. And follow up with the axe.
Oh, the poor goblin boss. He didn't even get to execute his deadly plan as the raging barbarian chops his head off.
Spin around looking for whoever's been shooting me or hitting me in the back. But that will end my turn.
And of course, the goblin tries to shoot you. And, you know, the last goblin rolled all the way through his wagon. This guy tries to roll into a wagon and hits Goblin 11. And another arrow comes out of nowhere and bounces off of your armor. You don't really seem to see where it came from. Oh wait, he should have had advantage on that attack. Not that it mattered. So the next goblin is starting to realize that targeting Blix is just a waste of his time. So he tries for Lathander. And poor Lathander is just not half as well protected. Oh, poor Lathander. An arrow comes out of nowhere and goes straight through his knee. And he doesn't even know where it came from. But he does see another goblin fire his short bow at Sketty, and boy, is that a hit. And the goblin who shot it manages to duck out of sight under a wagon.
Can I see any goblins?
You can see goblin number 3.
I will move to him and strike.
You know, goblins really do seem weak until you find out what they do here. They're so much fun for a DM.
So I am looking, and the only goblin that is visible is Goblin 3.
Yeah, he's shouting imprecations. You think he probably bumped into another goblin, and he's too busy shouting insults at that goblin to realize that he's in perfect plain sight.
Well, Lathander shoots at him with his bow. And of course.
Hold. That was a hit.
Okay, well. It said miss, so I passed my turn.
Go ahead and apply your damage. The misstatement was an error. It's difficult for me to modify them on the fly when... Well, it's not difficult. I just forgot to modify them on the fly when they dropped their shield.
Okay, well. Cool.
So, Sketty.
All right. Sketty's looking around. He sees nothing you can really see is moving anymore. So I know they're running towards the caravan. So I'm gonna kind of
in among the wagons at this point, using them for cover.
I'm gonna kind of charge in towards them, the wagons, but if I could use possibly as my action just to give myself a good perception look just around, just trying to spot, like,
Yes,
look at them.
done.
And then if I find any, I'm gonna like kind of point them out to everybody, or at least in the general areas
you do,
they're
in
at.
fact, spot one of my poor goblins.
All right. As soon as I find that goblin, I start yelling, especially to Blix. I'm trying to yell louder than he's yelling, so he can hear me. And I'm starting to point in the where this goblin's at.
All right, if I don't see that one, I do know that the one that they just killed had bumped into another one underneath the wagon. It looked like there was a
Sketty
collision.
found him, you know exactly where to find Goblin 6. Sketty's just going to be your seeing eye dog and guide you on in.
Then I will charge him and try to bear hug him. $13 will miss.
Actually, a 13 will hit.
Okay. But the 10 will miss.
Oh, yeah.
But that's because there's nothing left to hit. He's stuck to my armor.
Speaking of being stuck to your armor, an arrow comes flying in and manages to get caught in your spikes. As you turn around, you can see the goblin who shot it is just looking down at his bow, and he jumps into a wagon and tries to hide, but as he jumps up, his foot hits the side of the step and doesn't quite find purchase, so instead of pulling himself up in, he manages to pull his face straight into the edge of the wagon. And he just kind of staggers back a bit, bemused. And another arrow just bounces off of your armor from nowhere. Selexian.
So I will move to the nearest goblin I can see, which is number 8.
Yep.
And I will jump out at him and just take a nice good chop at his head. And I will look around and try to spot any of his other compatriots.
Unfortunately, that would require your action. You used your action to chop off my poor goblin's head. So, Lathander, do you want to ready an action for when the goblin shows himself?
Yes, I just want to ready an action to, with my bow drawn, for any looking for any movement.
And Sketty.
All right. Sketty came to the conclusion that these guys that he's with are way over his head and how good they are at goblin killing. So he's going to do what he can do. He's going to kind of get up on top of a box or just some random thing, give a little bit of leverage, and he's going to spend his action to look around as a seeing eye dog.
And you don't spot anything useful.
All right.
Blix.
All right. Blix thinks he knows where number 11 was because there was a collision of 2 goblins underneath a wagon a little while back. And we killed one of them, but the other one, there was only one dead under there. So Blix is going to pick that wagon and just baseball slide right underneath the wagon. If there's a goblin there, I will attack it. If not, I'll get all frustrated.
Actually, the collision in question actually happened out from under a wagon. What happened is one of them rolled out from under a wagon by mistake, just in time for another goblin to run into him.
Okay. In that case, Blix will still do that as sort of a flavor text perception check.
Done.
Yep. Nope.
So you managed to slide into the wagon on the far side of the encampment before realizing the goblins probably didn't get this far. So those of you who are looking, which is to say Lathander, can see the goblin stick his... the goblin actually stands up on top of a wagon as he takes a pot shot at poor Blix. So Lathander, you get your ready to action. And the goblin hops down from the wagon and vanishes.
And I don't see any, so I will search for some.
You spot him. This time around, the goblin actually tried to climb into a wagon.
I'll point him out to the rest of the party and be like, he's over there.
And he is no longer hidden. Lathander, would you care to just kill this guy already?
Lathander would surely love to hit him, but he keeps Will Wheaton throwing. Oh, crit. Sweet.
The goblin dies. And that fight took way longer than I wanted it to.
So the fight's over. If the fight's over, Lathander would like to try to find as many arrows as he can that he's shot.
50%. We're going to skip over the optional encounter because we are running a little bit behind schedule. So one afternoon, which means you guys get a long rest. After the midday stop, you notice a faint respite from the oppressive heat. A slight breeze ruffles the tassels on the camel's tack and on the driver's robes. It is a relief in the still hot air. Then someone points to the south, and you see a cloud on the horizon. And you haven't seen a cloud in days. It seems to be moving directly towards you, and fast. As you look at it closer, you see blocky shapes on top of the clouds that resolve quickly into buildings and towers. Pennants snap in the wind of its passage, and the cloud isn't the only thing coming toward you. Behind the cloud is a speeding, whirling storm of sand and dust kicked up from the desert. You are in deep black shadow for a moment as the speeding cloud palace passes over you. There are the sounds of horns from above, and the cloud castle turns slightly northeast with a delicate, ponderous turn towards the Grey Peak Mountains. As it turns, the wall of roiling clouds continues in its wake, and you have moments to protect yourself and the caravan from the oncoming sandstorm before it consumes you. Selixian, what do you do?
I guess I try to bog down one of the wagons so it doesn't get tossed about. I'll do the one with the statues, since that's what we're here to protect.
All right, you're able to help lash down the wagon with the statue. Sketty.
Sketty is going to pull out his rope. He's going to try to tie one end, or part of the wagon he can tie one end of the rope up to the wagon that has the statue in it. So if we do get a little bit lost, it'll be a little harder to pull it.
So I'm going to say that, just to let you guys know, you can protect a wagon, 2 camels, or a driver with your actions. Depending on the action, I'll either let you have it or I may ask for a roll.
And I already took care of the statue the statue, so you could take care of one of the other ones.
Okay. I will then try to hunker down the wagon at least and tell the driver to get a hold of those camels.
Sorry, say again?
I'm going to try to take care of the wagon I'm in, so the one with all the water and food.
Ah, okay. And the drivers are all busy just gaping at the oncoming storm. They're not actually doing anything. Except for Azim, he's actually gotten two of the camels and he's moving them to safety. So, Lathander.
Wow. I'm gonna try to save as many of the animals as I can.
How are you planning to do that?
Do I see any like caves or anything anywhere, or is it just flat desert?
Flat desert.
Hmm.
So be creative, come up with ideas. Maybe you use animal handling to keep them under control. Maybe use intelligence to remember something about sandstorms. Maybe with Arcana, you remember something about the passage of a Cloud Giant's castle.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to use animal handling to keep the animals calm and keep them so they don't try to bolt off. Maybe hobble their legs, with some rope.
So you're able to get two of the camels under control. You've got them by their halters and are getting them towards what looks like a relatively secure spot. Blix.
So let's see. He's got the camels from the wagon with the statue. The other guy's got the wagon with the statue, and Dopey Driver is standing there looking at an oncoming train. So I'm going to just sort of fly off the, by fly I mean leap, off the top of whatever I'm standing on, try to bear him to the ground and make
Athletics.
Like a pocket so when we get buried, we have a little bit of air to try to, survive through this, or pull him to a little hollow or what have you.
Athletics, please. And I must say, Blix, you really are a pleasure to DM for.
Thanks.
I don't believe you're supposed to have advantage on that roll.
I'm still raging.
Fixed. Please repeat the roll.
Even better.
You know what? For a natural 20, I'm going to be nice. You managed to get two of the drivers down to the ground.
Awesome.
Searing air and singing sand overwhelms the caravan. Sand whipping through the air, tearing and ripping at exposed skin, and rending the hems and sleeves of your clothes to tatters. Somewhere in the blinding storm, you hear a man scream, and the unearthly, terrifying noise of a camel facing its end. Somewhere, out in the hell of flying sand, you hear the ripping of the heavy canvas wagon covers under the onslaught. The wind howls, louder, until it drowns out all other noise, and the storm threatens to overwhelm you. You're lifted up an inch off the ground, and suddenly it dies away. Everyone give me a DC 13 con saving throw. Those of you who bought Desert Protective Gear have advantage. Those of you wearing heavy armor have disadvantage.
I'm wearing medium.
No disadvantage applied.
And you said con, right?
Alright, so I'm wearing heavy armor, and I bought the desert gear, so I just roll normally?
Correct. Oh, poor Silixian. You have a level of exhaustion.
Oh, that
And
sucks.
everyone takes 5 damage from the sand just ripping past and abrading your skin and tearing up your clothes. And just as the storm feels like it will pull you from the sands and carry you away, it passes. The sand falls out of the air, and sunlight once again illuminates the land. However, everything looks different. The dunes and hills of sand have been completely rearranged. In only a few minutes, the terrifying force of the giant's passage has reshaped the desert. Anything you guys didn't explicitly save has been destroyed. You have Azam, 2 of your 3 drivers, 2 wagons, 4 camels, and 2 of the wagons. Specifically, the one with the statue and the one with the food and drink.
Could have been worse.
And as soon
I
as you
got
say that, you
sand
find one of
everywhere.
the drivers.
Say again?
And as soon as you say it could have been worse, you find the missing driver. Or rather, what's left of him. The sand
guy?
has literally ripped the flesh from his bones.
That's not a good way to go.
No, especially since most of the damage appears to be from about the chest down, and it looks like he survived for at least a while through it.
I put 2 copper coins on his eyes.
So you guys continue on. You've been watching the mountains come into views for days, but today they're close enough for the caravan to head up into this far more forgiving environment. You see trees on the mountains and clouds above them. As you get closer, you see that the foothills form desolate badlands and the black road twists through them. After traveling for hours through the mountains, or toward the mountains through the Badlands, the Black Road goes through a steep-sided canyon. Ahead, the road is blocked by a crude stone wall and an iron gate. A few broad-shouldered, ill-featured, armored humanoids move back and forth along the top of the wall. With this defensive structure, they own the road and the passage to the west. You see a faded, tattered banner with a leering skull of some loathsome tusked creature flying over the battlements. Of course, you could take your chances by turning around the battered and weakened caravan and going back out into the desert to try and find another route. What do you do?
You don't want me to do the talking. Unless you want me to do the talking, in which case we don't do much talking.
I tell him I've never actually been very persuasive.
What do you sneaky? You want to see it move up and see what's what?
I mean, I could attempt to speak with them.
Well, why don't we figure out what we're dealing with?
All right, so let's take a closer look.
So you're wanting to take a closer look at the fortification?
Yeah.
Perception check. The goblins don't even seem to. The hobgoblins don't even seem to care that you're taking a closer look.
I see nothing.
It's a stone wall. It's got some hobgoblins on it. There's an iron gate. Ooh, look, a squirrel.
Yep. You want to ask if we can go through?
Sure.
So as you approach, the wall that blocks the cannon, you can see that the sandstorm that was so costly to your group also did damage to this area. Tattered banners hang from poles that have been knocked aside, and some of the crudely applied armored plates of the ramparts have been torn away. There are a dozen armored hobgoblins in position along the ramparts, unmoving as the caravan approaches. Off to the side, you see vultures feasting on something that died in the sandstorm earlier. Once you get about 60 feet away, a short, broad-shouldered armored humanoid rises to the edge of the ramparts behind a crenellation. The humanoid has a dark orange skin, vicious yellow eyes, and a surly expression. Definitely a hobgoblin. "You are entering Bad Fool's domain, and must pay the toll," he shouts at you. "Only by gold or blood will we open the gates."
Blood payment. I like that. It should come as no surprise to anybody that if left up to Blix, he will try to fight his way through this.
And what say you is the payment to cross these roads?
15 gold pieces or 2 camels.
I'll turn around and look at his and like he wants 15 gold pieces or 2 camels to cross these roads.
Alright, Sketty's going to start doing the math. Like how he ran a cash register for a little bit. It's like if we get paid 50 gold, we give him 15 gold, we still got 35 gold left, right?
I will also note that the wagons basically take 2 camels each. While it's probably possible to continue with 1 each, it's going to slow you down quite a bit.
We could also just kill them and
We could, but Sketty's
then
going to do
take
the
their
math
stuff
again.
too.
And he said, if there's 12 of them, and there's 4 of us, it means we got to take like 4 each. I don't know if we can do that.
I mean, it doesn't sound like terrible odds.
Hobgoblins aren't weaklings.
I'm just saying, we could just pay him. We are going to get paid for this, so overall we're making money.
So I'm going to step out and bellow out at them. Hey! I got a better idea. How about you and I, one-on-one? Winner take all.
They glance back and forth. "What do you mean by winner take all?"
Wow, the dumb leading the dumb. I kill you, I get your stuff. You kill me, you get our stuff.
"We keep your buddies as slaves?"
I look back at you guys. One-on-one fight? You and me?
If you think you can take them, go right ahead.
Thinking a single hobgoblin I could probably take, but if they cheat, all bets are off.
Well, if they cheat, the rest of us will jump in and pummel them.
And they actually start arguing back and forth with each other. And finally, the hobgoblin captain silences them. "No slaves. You beat us, you get our gear. We beat you, we get your wagons and your gear. But you walk free, along with enough food to get to safety. Same for us."
Okay. So I actually step out and I start stretching and
Is this Blix?
yes it is.
All right. Before as Blix goes a step forward, as he walks past me, I'll put my hands on his shoulder and bless. I was like, have at thee.
All right, let's do this. I don't got all day.
Stand by. Roll initiative. Only Blix. Why
All right.
why did I even ask? I should have realized.
All right, so I will, of course, rage. I assume he's coming up to me.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Well, down. He opens up the gate, steps out. Actually, you know what? Let's make a bit of a production out of this. We've got time now that you've short-circuited the actual fight. So the hobgoblins come down, they open up the gate. They start shuffling their feet across the dirt in the road, striking, using whatever's at hand to strike stuff at it, and they quickly start forming part of a circle. And they just look at you guys as they're doing this, as if expecting you to join them.
All right.
So assuming you guys join it doesn't take but a few minutes, and a rough circle about 20 feet in diameter gets etched out in the dirt of the road. There are 3 hobgoblins lining on one side, and the hobgoblin captain steps inside.
I will step inside, flex a little bit.
And the hobgoblins start rhythmically stamping their feet and clapping their hands. Boom, boom, clap. Boom, boom, clap.
Johnny, you're a poor boy, gonna make a big noise.
All right, and I will bellow a roar, rage, and have at him. Can we just start, or is there more? Okay, I didn't want to jump the gun. So I will rage. I will fly at him and do a reckless attack. That should be a hit. Hey, max damage. And I rage. That is a bonus action, so that is it for me.
So the hobgoblin captain is not particularly happy. Oh, this is just going to be painful for me. Oh, I've advanced because you recklessed. And it's your turn. The hobgoblin swings at you with his greatsword and manages to get a nice hit in. But somehow I don't think it affected you very much.
No, he is oblivious to the pain. He is roaring. He almost seems to be singing as he flies in recklessly. And tries to slam up against him. Will a 14 hit? Oh, am I applying the damage to him? I don't have him selected anymore.
No, you don't.
And
a 14 misses.
Okay. So he's seen that move before.
And no need to reapply reckless attack since we aren't actually taking initiative turns.
Okay.
Just let me know if you want to take it off. And the hobgoblin captain seems a bit distracted as he whacks at you and just... It's kind of disappointing.
Put him in the ground.
This guy should be cleaving you.
Didn't give me the reckless attack.
I think I somehow managed to turn it off. Go ahead and try again.
But I miss, so he's got something to him. And that's him.
You know, you're taking on a CR3 all by yourself. That's pretty impressive. Oh, there's the problem. The stats are wrong. One moment, I need to figure out which stats are right. By stats are wrong, I mean that when I'm looking at the Fantasy Grounds copy of the Hobgoblin and comparing it to the modules, the Fantasy Grounds one has significantly fewer hit points. And they're all wrong. The heck? Okay, I'm going to have to fetch out the actual physical monster manual at some point. But for now, I'm just going to do some quick adjustments by eye.
The Hobgoblin Captain is 68 plus 12 on hit points, or hit dice.
Yeah, so he should not have a maximum hit points of 39.
Well, that's the minimum, really.
Yeah, it looks to me like someone fudged something the wrong way when they were... Something got messed up. So I'm just going to be adjusting things by eye here. So you just had... he just took his turn, and now it's your turn.
All right. Again, just screaming epithets at him. What little goblin I know, which is probably just swear words. I'm firing at them as I swing Crasher, my battle axe. Crit.
At least you aren't a half orc.
And I have.
And you have your bonus attack.
Yep. Sorry, I was just making sure the reckless attack was on.
It is.
Okay.
I think what happened is I habitually selected your character to start your turn, and that killed Reckless.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. All right, and that's it for me.
And shrieking imprecations of his own, the Hobgoblin Captain chops at your armor and knocks a couple of spikes off. Your turn.
That's more like it! My turn.
And do you actually kill him?
We don't need him.
Yeah, I'm raging. There's no way he would. I would not have the presence of mind for any restraint.
So the three remaining hobgoblins just look at the party, draw their swords, drop them on the ground, turn around, and walk back into the fortress. They leave the gate open behind them. They come back out. Each of them has a backpack on. They salute you with a ringing fist-to-chest crash, and then start marching off.
So we let them go and search the compound. Search the area, see if we find anything before we continue on.
Yes, sir.
You do notice that the Hobgoblin captain had some bracers on that look magical. We'll get to those in a bit.
Like I walk over to Blix and I like hit him on the shoulders like, "Good job."
You also find 49 gold pieces worth of coinage in the toll house.
Blix grins back at you. You think he may be missing another tooth.
And you also find a small eyrie. There's some bird seed scattered on the bottom of it, which could not possibly have stayed there through the windstorm, but there's no sign of an actual bird. The door has been left open. And you notice that there's a writing table there with what looks like some freshly strewn sand, as if someone just dashed off a message recently. You also find a blood-stained suit of ringmail emblazoned with the fist and sword of the Order of the Gauntlet.
I'll pick that one up.
And an intricately carved short bow of wood elf make.
Ooh.
What kind of armor did you say it was?
Ringmail.
What's the AC on ringmail?
I think
it's just under scale mail, I think.
I think it's a 15.
Never mind. I'll take it, but if someone wants to use it, I think because I've been wearing scale mail.
Honestly, it's loot. It's treasure. It's gold.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys didn't object too much to me letting him get his one-on-one combat.
No. Sketty is actually praying to the DM god and thanking him with all of his might.
What, you didn't think you could take on 4 hobgoblins?
Sketty had a hard time with some regular goblins.
Yeah, what happened to the rest of them?
Didn't you hear me narrate?
I'm sorry, I must have missed that part.
So
They walked off.
They walked into the guardhouse, came back out a minute later with backpacks on, saluted you guys by banging their fists against their chests, and then walked off.
Oh, all dozen of them.
All 3 of them.
Right, but there were 12 on the...
And you can see that there's still 9 more figures on the ramparts, not moving. In fact, you don't think they've budged at all during the entire fight.
They're probably stuffed.
Sneaky.
Blix throws his head back and bellows in laughter.
He would. He would. I like Blix. Blix is fun.
Blix is an old character of mine I finally rebuilt, so he's my favorite character.
He's fun, and he has an insane amount of hit points.
Yeah, he's pretty sweet.
All right, is there anything else here? We've turned this place over. Maybe we'll come back here and man it later. Do they have anything that we would replenish the supplies that we lost with?
Not really.
I guess we encourage our caravan master to keep us moving.
He just shakes your head at your reckless antics, but congratulates you on your success. So your journey continues, and soon you find yourself passing through the foothills of the Grey Peaks. You camp one last night before you reach Parnas the next day, keenly aware of what you've lost, with fewer wagons and companions than when you started. Around noon the next day, you reach the small town of Parnas, but find that few townspeople come out to greet your ragged caravan. So, you deliver your... Sorry. Oh, it's always fun when you suddenly just start yawning for no reason. You guys approach the village, and as you approach, you smell something that sets your bellies to rumbling. Fresh baked bread. The scent of freshly baked bread just wafts out towards you. And you think you smell roast vegetables. I mean, those are fairly appetizing anytime, but after subsisting on trail rations for the last couple of weeks, more importantly, trail rations that have been liberally seasoned with gritty sand, that smell is like the foretaste of heaven. No one really comes out to greet you, but as you rumble on into town, a female half-elf steps out and waves at you. Oh, do you have our statue?
It's right here with the caravan.
She steps up and looks at it, pulls the cloth covering off it. Oh, oh, oh! It's all I could have dreamed of. Thank you, thank you. The half-elven cleric Chandra thanks you quietly. We're so grateful that you have braved the Black Road to bring the statue of our goddess to us. We could have used the rest of the goods that were lost in the storm as well. But she turns and looks up at the statue, laying a hand on it. But now we have her guidance, at least. She gives you a kind, gentle smile. Please, take your payment with our gratitude, she says, pressing a small black velvet bag of coins in your hands. And let us get baths drawn, her voice rings out. We would have you stay for a meal, and we can offer you a safe place to stay the night. Lodgings can be difficult to find in town. As you look around, it's apparent from the reactions of the bystanders that this long speech from the cleric is the most words she's contributed to a conversation in years. Asm looks over your group with a shrewd glance. You did modestly well out there. He gives you a wry, lopsided smile and smooths down his noble moustache. I'd travel with you again. You've got a friend on the Black Road. I'm going to stay here a while, until we have enough goods for a new caravan out. Will be nice to get away from the sand for a while. Just, you watch yourselves here. Between everything we've seen and heard, I think you'll be having larger problems soon. Oh, shoot, I forgot. I forgot something important. So back when you fought the goblins, we forgot to loot their bodies. You find a little bit of coinage, a couple of trinkets, and also a box filled with strips of foul-smelling wood. Would anyone care to do an Arcana check on the wood?
I mean, I could attempt it. My Arcana sucks, but I can attempt it.
Well, I got a +1. That's about it.
Oh, you're better than me. Go ahead.
Well, I assume the party gets their heads in over it, so everyone could roll.
Yep.
So Selixian recognizes the wood. It's toenails. Giant toenails.
Nasty.
More importantly, he's reasonably certain that they can be used to make potions. That they are, in fact, the critical ingredient in a potion of giant strength. And there is, in fact, a merchant in town who's interested in buying them for 100 gold pieces.
Well, gladly sell it to him for 100 gold pieces.
Gladly.
I actually offer him some of my toenails. He wants to up the price.
I like the way you think.
$575 experience.
Is that split or each?
Each.
Okay.
$64 gold pieces each. 1 renown, 5 downtime. Magic item, Bracers of Archery. These have a special bonus. The bracers have their bracers are bulky and they have hexagon designs along them that do not match any common racial or family styling. And the hexagons are magical. They turn blue in the cold or warm orange in the heat. And the bearer suffers no harm in temperatures as cold as minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit or as warm as 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Other than that, they function as normal bracers of archery. While you wear them and are attuned, you gain proficiency with short bow and long bow, and you gain +2 damage with these weapons when you use them.
If nobody has any disagreements, I could use those, but use that bow. But how much gold would that cost me to make up for it?
Well, the magic item is just it's separate from the rest of the treasure. I have no interest in the braces of archery. I thought I saw one person shooting, so that makes sense to me. But two of them never make sense.
That's what pretty much what my character is revolves around is bow.
Yeah, you don't need to give back treasure to take that. It's just sort of, if that's your first mag, it just works using the Adventure League rules for deciding who gets it.
Since I get the feeling that some people aren't familiar with how AL works, when it comes to distribution of magical items, there is a process. If the party as a whole agrees it goes to someone, it goes to that person. If the party cannot unanimously agree it goes to a person, then it goes to the person who has the fewest number of magic items that is interested in it. In the event of a tie, the DM randomly decides, which typically means people roll off for it. So at the moment, all I'm hearing is Lathander is interested in the bracers. Is anyone else interested?
No, sir.
Going once, going twice. Congratulations, Lathander.
Sweet.
Selixian's gonna pass because I don't use bows, so I'm gonna pass.
Sounds good. Wear him in good health.
Also, there is a story award.
Thanks,
Friend
guys.
on the Black Road. You aided the caravan master Azam on a perilous journey along the Black Road. If you find yourself needing to travel the Black Road or transport something discreetly, Azam will provide it safely, once, for free. So, does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns?
No, not from me. Thank you for running. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I actually leveled up.
Fantastic.
It's not unusual to level up pretty frequently in Tier 1. It's like almost impossible to avoid leveling up in one mission if you're level 1. The second mission almost always takes you to level 2. Level 3 can take 2 missions, but usually not too terribly many. Okay, 3 missions. Depending on the missions you choose, level 3 takes longer. From 1 to 2 is quick, 2 to 3 is quick. It's level 4 that takes a bit.
Yes, sir. I'm still lacking like almost 1,000 to get to level 4.
And for those of you who are new to AL, I will mention you might want to look at the player's guide. It was not intended for the purposes which it is being used, but there is the catch-up option. I'm going to go ahead and stop streaming now. The stream stops